Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2 of this replay. Zergling's still trying to push back, trying to take out this pylon. This pylon is a real issue and now quickly getting taken down as it was already low on shields. Zergling's now coming in to try to take down these zealots. Oh, very nice force field. However, that force field, it just messed up one of those sentries and now even more losses. So that was a bad force field, not a good one. And ended up losing a couple zealots and a couple sentries in that whole entire engagement. And Zpux once again on the move, trying to make sure that that LittleOne has not taken down this high yield mineral location. Back over here, photon cannons continue to be warped in. And now those Zerglings are going to have a real hard time trying to push through. That photon cannon on the high ground is really going to be the main issue. Those Hydralisks with that upgraded range of 6 should be able to shoot at those pylons and that warp gate without taking any damage. However, now that there's 3 cannons over here and this cannon on that high ground, it's going to be difficult to take down this pylon. Continuing a little bit more of this engagement, we have a couple Zerglings, a couple roaches, 4 roaches and half a dozen or so Hydralisks. Once again, income-wise, the LittleOne still very, very strong, sitting on 46 harvesters. Those spine crawlers moving so slowly when they're not on creep, trying to move these spine crawlers out to the center of the field. Perhaps should try to get a creep tumor down in the middle of the field, and then these overlords do not have to continually try to just spawn creep. It will naturally be there already as the creep tumor naturally generates creep. Zpux now getting a hatchery over here at this high yield mineral location. Zpux sitting even on harvesters, 51 to 51. Army wise, LittleOne sitting at 900 compared to Zpux's 1275. He just cannot run headlong into this front door, however, as it is such a well guarded position. We now have a robotics bay up and dual robotics facilities in order to get Colossus. So Colossus already being researched. More pylons need to be upgraded as we're already supply locked. A little bit of waste of a chrono boost there, as that robotics facility cannot train up that Colossus just quite yet. Back over here, Ultra Lords continuing to spawn creep all across the map. It sounds like someone's taking a shower, but luckily my volume's not that high. Roaches and Hydralisks still continuing to be built. We'll see whether or not, I do not see any, oh no, we are getting the level 1 missile upgrade, but only 1 evolution chamber, not 2, so we're not going to get the armor upgrade as well that quickly. Zpux does in fact have the transport upgrade for those overlords. Doing a quick check on the inside of this base, it does in fact see that there are a couple Colossus being built with that robotics facility. Robotics bay also researching that extended lance range from 6 to 9, which is very, very important. Once again, overlords just continuing to spawn more. Colossus still being built, and now we're getting Corruptors. Corruptors, the obvious counter in order to try to counter those Colossus, as those Colossus are in fact massive. So they are a massive armored mechanical unit, so they're going to be taking that additional damage from those Corruptors. However, the Corruptors do not fire that quickly, so we'll see how it's really going to be used and utilized. Hydralisks, a fair number of Hydralisks, almost 3 control groups of Hydralisks. A drone now being placed down, most likely going to go ahead and try to drop down a hatchery over here in just a moment. And now Corruptors moving out. The Corruptors deal 22 damage per attack against those, against those Colossus. They also have the ability to corrupt buildings, and corruption stops a building from being able to produce anything. So if a warp gate is trying to warp in a unit, I don't know if it stops it as it's being warped in, and that's more of a question. I've never actually seen it in action on a warp gate. I just know that it probably stops the cooldown from being trickled down. A couple Colossus once again on the move, and we'll see how this is really going to be used. Those Colossus now going to go ahead and head up to that high ground, trying to fight back against those units, and now with no real sight to that high ground, Corruptors trying to focus down those units, so able to see those Colossus and continuing to fire back. We have a couple spine crawlers continuing to engage. However, those Hydralisks having a hard time dealing with those Colossus. All of that just dead Hydralisks burning, sitting over there. A couple of those Colossus now very, very low on hit points as well, and only 2 Colossus is remaining from this army as those Corruptors once again on the move to try to take down that last Colossus. Colossus down to 2 hit points. Down it goes. A single Immortal not going to be able to really take down these units nearly as easily, as those Immortals only deal 20 damage a shot against those Hydralisks. However, the weapons upgrade allows them to do 22 damage, so 4 quick attacks, and then down goes a single Hydralisk. Once again, Units are up in the air. Gonna go ahead and try to pick them up and move them on out. Corruptors are sitting over here just getting zapped by these Stalkers for no real reason. A really bad play by Zpux. Perhaps he's gonna go ahead and corrupt that one robotics facility, making it so that that chrono boost was wasted. Very nicely done, as those corruptors continue to be on the move. So yeah, that robotics facility not producing any of those buildings. An overlord in the air trying to spawn creep. No real reason for that, as those two immortals once again on the move. Army-wise, both players sitting on a fairly sized army, and both players sitting at approximately the same amount of minerals, or same amount of harvesters. And now in come these overlords. Overlords, are we going to get a drop? Yes, we're going to get a quick drop, and all these roaches trying to drop down, trying to take down all of these units. However, there are a couple overlords, or sorry, those couple immortals able to take down a lot of those units, and this army quickly getting whittled down. Additional reinforcements by Little One should be warping in just a moment, as those corruptors are not able to really focus down anything. Able to, however, continue to corrupt those robotics facility, and those robotics facility are not producing any additional units at this stage. So very nicely done. We have Zpux trying to delay the production of those Colossus, constantly delaying those production. Roach is now coming in, going to be able to take down this Nexus. No, for some reason pulling back out as he saw all of these Immortals coming in. Does not want to fight Immortals with those shields and Stalkers. Stalkers and Immortals, a strong counter to mass roaches. Hydralisks continue to move on out. We'll see how this is really going to work out. Those Hydralisks with only 80 hit points now, only taking 4 shots instead of 5 from those Immortals. Also, those Colossus able to only take 2 rounds of attacks in order to take them down. However, Little One taking a lot of damage from those units. In come these Colossus trying to take down, trying to focus fire those Hydralisks. Those Hydralisks really the DPS of this army. And now those roaches continue to do a little bit of engagement. Those Colossus on that high ground able to continue to fire. Those roach trying to shoot up onto that high ledge, unable to, and the Little One inching out away, starting to be able to perhaps macro up a larger army. However, the Zpux does in fact have the better economy, currently mining 1,500 minerals a minute versus the Little One's 1,200. So we'll see who's going to be able to hold out longer. The army macro of Zpux versus the Little One's 3 bases and his ever-growing tech-dominated army. In come these Corruptors. The Corruptors perhaps going to try to take down these Stalkers. However, those Colossus now trying to come in, and was that a blink? No, that was not a blink. Not sure what that was, as those Colossus so the units quickly getting taken down. Corruptors trying to focus down those Colossus. However, those Corruptors do not deal that much damage. I'm trying to compare it to a Viking, and air-to-air, it actually does less damage than a Viking. So if you're thinking that a Corruptor is as strong as a Viking in air-to-air combat, you are mistaken, even if the defending unit is massive. Overlords now getting shot down. Those Colossus able to provide sight onto that high ground. Quickly going to go ahead and take down the rest of those Overlords, as once again the Little One going to go ahead and drop in a pylon. So this pylon going to allow quick reinforcements, and Zpux does not have the army to really stop all of these Colossus. The Colossus with that range of 9, able to just deal so much damage on these ground armies. Roaches trying to get with closer range, trying to take down these Colossus, not going to really work. Colossus able to step over those Stalkers as well. Roaches trying to get within range, and this is going to be the end now for Zpux, as Zpux is taking significant losses, losing this high yield mineral, losing a lot of his drones as well, already down to 42 drones, and still falling down to 41. So once again, the weapons upgrade on these Stalkers 1-0, Colossus 1-0, does in fact have that extended thermal lance range. Roach is trying to engage, not going to be able to really do all too much as those Stalkers continuing to fight. One of those Queens trying to fight back even further, and now Zpux says good game, well played. So if this was a best 3 out of 5 match, that would make sense, as Zpux has now won 1 while the Little One has won 3 of these games. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this replay here from Lost Temple.